Hey there, it's me, ADHD Asian again, and today I have a kind of dark talk about ADHD. I mean, last time I talked about ADHD as the basics, but right now I feel like this is more to the people who have ADHD, and it's because it's like you know what I'm talking about. I mean, quite honestly, what I'm going to say won't really affect people who don't have ADHD. Maybe it'll affect them, like, they'll say, oh, I know this guy has ADHD, so, I can understand, I can tolerate, but that's about as far as I think, as far as I can think about what it can help. But yeah, there's several things I want to talk about for ADHD, the negative side. I mean, if you have ADHD, you obviously know sometimes you know you're told something and then you just don't listen. you're you just constantly do it over and over and over again, and then uh, sometimes you feel stupider compared to others. Like people say, oh, I got a B, I got an A, and then you end up getting a C, and even though you know what it is, you just go, what the hell, I know what this is, but I'm getting all these crappy ass grades. And there's a lot of other stuff also along with ADHD. I mean, right now I'm actually going blank, but there's problems like, oh, several times I've hurt people that I didn't mean to. Uh, that's quite surprising for people who know me now, because basically I've gone through a lot. I've hurt my cousin, I've hurt my uncle, I've hurt people I cared about, and I've even hurt random people. Like when I was in elementary school, basically I hurt people by accident. Like I would they would be talking to me about something and I would get annoyed because I don't know them actually, and I just go, hey, stop. And then like when I pushed them, I didn't know my own strength and I would actually push them over. This was first grade to like kindergartners basically, and I just completely didn't mean to do that, but they always fell down and cried and went to the teacher. And I always got so nervous. I just would go try distracting myself. I go, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a pretty cloud. La 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 la, walk away. But I mean, the teacher always caught me for one thing. Uh, I also in first grade, I was bored and I was in the sandbox and I would throw sand over and hit rocks, not the huge rocks, like small pebbles. And I found that incredibly fun for me. And I mean, it's like we just don't find it's just hard for us. I mean, if you've seen the new X-Men commercial for X-Men First Class, there's a scene with Mystique and Magneto, and basically Magneto lifts up the bar that she's training with and says, if half your mind is focusing on your powers, then half your mind won't be as aware. Then he suddenly drops it, and Mystique changes from her human skin all the way to her mutated and just grabs the pole midway before it smashes her. And I have to say that applies a lot to, I think, ADHD kids. Well, maybe more me than others. I mean, my ADHD, I grew up as seeing it as great, but I saw the negative side because, like I said, I hurt people and I did stuff I didn't mean to do. And I found myself, I had to control it. I couldn't rely on anyone else to do it. I had to physically and mentally suppress that urges inside my mind. And a lot of times like I'm able to actually control it, but sometimes when I get really tired, like one of the swimming events, I got really tired. And I don't know why. I just lifted my foot back and I actually kicked somebody in the face. I still feel bad about it now, and like I apologize like five times more even. And this girl was even on my swim team too. That's the embarrassing part. And like I don't know. I don't mean to do that. Quite obviously, I didn't mean to kick somebody in the face, and I'm not that kind of guy. And ADHD, it comes with that. You have to focus. You just can't go loose like everybody else. My ADHD can go crazy sometimes. I mean, I've ran on Tambar, and I've gone so hyper before that I couldn't take one step. And what I mean is, I would trip on my first step. I would get up and run but I would be pushing my body so fast and moving so fast, I would trip on the floor and go face plant. And it just, it's hard to control, I realize. But what this talk is trying to tell you is that you shouldn't feel bad about it. I mean, you are you, and you have ADHD if you have ADHD and you know this. I mean, obviously there's negatives, but in another video, I'll definitely talk about the positives. And there's a lot of things that people don't understand with ADHD. There's that feeling that you're not really with others. You're really different. You want to be normal. You feel pain. You feel loneliness. I mean, quite honestly, ADHD has done a lot for me, benefits, and there's also a lot of negatives. I mean, I can annoy the hell out of people I care about because I'm just so happy with them. If you ask my friends, I talk into movies too much. I can tell by their faces that they do get annoyed, and I mean, I just feel happy when I'm around them, so I talk, but to them it's more of a bother. And I say just give some ADHD kids some credit, or just understand what they're going through. I mean, it's really something not that easy. Uh, with ADHD kids, it's always act first, think later, which commonly, superheroes have. So, but I mean, in this case, it's really negative. I mean, I when I said I hurt my uncle and my cousin, I would always fight them into water. But then like a sort of primal instinct, you could say, kind of kicked in, where my uncle would be holding me underwater and I feel in danger to the level where I must attack back. And I even did this with my dad sometimes when we're fighting. When I was a kid, he would pin me down on my arms and in my body, and I couldn't move since I was such a little kid. So the first thing I did was I used my head to hit his chest or hit his head, which was incredibly stupid for me. Because I mean, I could have hurt myself and I could have hurt my dad badly. And well, I just feel like I'm venting, I'm blabbering. But my point is right now is that ADHD in the common eye and in the common world is seen as a negative. I mean, we are put on these things, Ritalin, medicine, where basically we have to change our personalities so then we could work with society. And personally, I'm against medicine, but I mean, I do find myself in positions where I say, oh, I'm going to do this. 20 minutes later, okay, I'm still going to do this. An hour later, I'm still going to do this. A day later, I'm still going to do this. Months later, I'm still going to do this. I mean, there's just sometimes we just can't force ourselves. I mean, some people can, say, oh, okay, fine, I'll read this book, and they read it. For us, it's almost like we can't handle it at all. But I mean, this is kind of things I've seen, it's things I've noticed, but I don't know exactly if it's true. Also, I must admit, we're hard headed, we're naive, we just do what we want. Sometimes we don't care about others, which is really bad because I've seen the negative side of this, and thank God I've never really gone into that. I've seen people self destruct, and I've seen people with ADHD do incredibly stupid stuff. But next time I talk will be a positive thing about ADHD. And you'll be surprised how much positive stuff there are. I was surprised. I was surprised too when I read about it and saw it, noticed it. But till then, this is the ADHD Asian signing out.